Jai Shri Krishna. Welcome to Sanatan Shakti. Today I have pleasure of having two great personalities who are life partners as well as business partners. This is Pooja and Rajesh Bharadwaj. Welcome Pooja ji and Rajesh ji. Welcome to Sanatan Shakti.
Thank you, Krishna ji.
So we have this book, Essential Management Handbook, which I have read cover to cover. And this is written by Pooja. Pooja, when I was reading this book, it amazed me that how difficult management concepts have been woven so beautifully, lucidly into a book. And while reading, it's kind of a punch tantra of modern management, if I can say that. So while reading, I could just revise my management concept. So my thing is, if you could just tell me what motivated you to write this book.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for such lovely words for the book. I have total 20 years of work experience, and I myself read a lot of management books. And if you see that, I've written that I'm inspired by Rajesh, because he's the one who actually made me believe that I should start writing. Rather, I used to have a lot of subscription of management books, which actually Rajesh stopped, and he encouraged me that I should start writing. However, the second part is why I wrote this book is because I feel that corporate professionals, if you see their life, they have a very busy schedule actually. So they don't get that much of time to read. So my idea was that why not to do something for this corporate world, which has given me so much. So now what I did is I wrote 340 management concepts and 80 corporate case studies. I converted in form of diagrams so that it's quick to read. And also I added 180 idioms and a lot of personal life experiences, and I knitted all of them through one story so that I can use storytelling technique. And for professionals, it's easy to recall that information and they can implement their work. So that was the idea.
Oh, yes. And it has really come out well. So you are a strategist, life coach, mentor, author, and now CEO of Vedar Consulting Services. And as you rightly said, this has 340 management concepts, 80 corporate case studies, 180 idioms, and 15 real life experiences. Can you elaborate? Others are self-explanatory. Can you elaborate when you say 180 idioms, what exactly are you referring to?
Ma'am, as I told you that I have knitted through a story.
Yes.
So if you see that each page of the book has references so that people can do the citation, and if they are more interested in going in, reading that topic, they can go to the original book as well. Yes. And idioms are added to authenticate the story. So every paragraph is authenticated by a couple of idioms to make it more interesting, rather, I should say. So it adds spice to my book as well.
Okay, yes. So, and while I'm on page 74 of your book, very interestingly, it deals with very real life situations. It says how to handle narcissist boss. It's very, very interesting that you have come up with this term. Is it coming from some real life experience you had? And if yes, then could you share that with us?
Ma'am, I'll tell you more than a lifetime experience. I would like to share with the readers why did I write it? Because when the freshers, they join the organization, I have seen, I'll be very blunt with you on this, a lot of new freshers, they get depressed, and their first dialogue is, I don't know what kind of boss I have met with or encountered with. Maybe my boss is chaotic or my boss is very aggressive. But in actual, if you see about management books, it gives you knowledge for it. If you can see what are the traits of my boss, you can actually handle the situation when you meet them. I did that. And I would not like to pinpoint, this is not the right forum, but Yes, I mean, I wrote this especially for the freshers to get prepared when they join the organization and be ready. Let's not crib about it. The boss is like this or the boss is like that. No worries. If you have the knowledge, you can handle the situation. You can do really well.
Yes, very true. Rajesh ji, I've met you personally, and while we are conversing with Pooja ji, I can say with confidence that, the saying is that there is a woman behind every successful man. In this case, we can reverse it. There's a very successful man behind the successful woman. So how have been your journey with Pooja ji, both professionally and personally? And
Okay.
how have you mentored each other?
Oh, okay. That's an interesting question. Well, yes, let's look at the book angle. Pooja is an avid reader and she's got a collection of over 400 books. At one point, I started encouraging her to start writing. That was a slight turn in the whole story because a reader generally prefers to read a lot more and more. But I had my firm belief that with over 20 years of global corporate experience spanning the London, Dubai, etc., she would make a very fine author. With that in mind and having motivated her, we were faced with a few challenges. And those are something I would like to share.
Yes.
On one hand, Pooja was shifting her work profile from being a successful senior management banker to an entrepreneur.
Mm.
Second, managing the house. And we were blessed with a newborn baby.
Yeah.
That too during the period of the pandemic. So
Oh,
that was another challenge in itself. Besides that, authoring the book came in as an absolute new challenge over and above managing the consulting services. And it was a new firm, so it was just growing, the business was just coming in. Having said that, I would give full marks to Pooja for having done a due credit to all of these spheres. If you ask me about mentoring, etc., one thing I would like to share, many readers have been asking Pooja as to how long it took her to write the book. Personally, you ask me, I stay silent, of course, when she's asked about it. I think it's a bit naive question to ask. Yes, it took her about a year and a half to write, but what is not seen or understood by many authors, that it was a result of over 20 years of reading management books, taking handwritten notes, and treasuring them all through. So it is a sum total of a lot that has already happened over the period of time, right? And if you now ask me how it is, well, seeing her becoming acknowledged as an author, seeing her books actually coming into the knowledge pool of the likes of London Business School and Heriot-Watt University, yes, it is absolutely rewarding. Without becoming only looking at the book, I would not like to shy away from saying that yes, it has grown our business manifold. So that's been a definite allied benefit that we are looking at. And to summarize, I must say I am a proud husband and a proud business partner.
yeah. So, of course, the business will grow because you have a very eminent personality in-house. So, definitely.
My God's
Yes.
grace.
So, Pooja ji, your book has also made it to the knowledge resource of London Business School. So, how was the journey there?
Wonderful. I think one of the milestones we have achieved, we always wanted to do that. And also Heriot-Watt University has accepted our book as part of the knowledge pool. Both London Business School and Heriot-Watt University has accepted. And I think one of the milestones we have already achieved it. And we do have a few surprises to come in December. And that is the reason we haven't even done a success party till now. So
Okay.
maybe in first week of January, we'll surely do it and invite you as well.
So this is not a textbook. I've gone through it. So in what capacity has it been accepted in these universities?
They have added, when I say as a knowledge pool, they have added in their library. So that
Okay. So they've taken it in.
Yeah. And they want to order a few more when they'll see the response. So that is what it is.
Okay.
And in India as well, few universities have accepted and have taken it, and even the schools rather. Yeah, because if you see, let me emphasize on this point. I mean, why this book is doing well, and it's unique as well in its own terms, because I have the youngest reader who's 12 years old, my niece in Luxembourg. On the other hand, I have a reader who's 85 years old, in Dubai.
Mhm.
Because the main thing, the best part of this book is simplicity. And it helps in all the professionals. I mean, you can talk about bankers, doctors, lawyers, for that matter, corporates.
Mhm.
It helps them. And also it is relevant if you talk about a corporate from a fresher to even the CEO of a company.
Yeah. That's very true. And actually, I have gone through it. It's very lucid. It's got lots of pictures. So it becomes a very interesting read and very comprehensible also for children as well. So that's, yes, one of the
I think the
USPs.
best is a few days back, me and Rajesh, we visited a college, and the director of the college, he gave us a very good review. I mean, that actually touched my heart. He
Uh-huh.
said, he quoted that MBA is definitely an essential degree,
Uh-huh.
but considering the richness of the book, this book, it in itself degree. So I think that is the best review we have got till now, isn't it, Rajesh?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Since you start your book by a chapter when the young boy, which you have aptly, possibly coincidentally named Vedarth, which is also your consulting company, you are describing the first day of his office. So, what I wanted to ask you a question, which possibly is on the tangent, that how much a destiny plays role, how much knowledge base plays the role, and how much is your network plays the role in making you a successful professional?
Network, when I say, ma'am, definitely it's important because there are a lot of positions in upper management which are filled within the organization, and they are not even released on the papers or anywhere else. So definitely social media is important. But when you talk about destiny, I'll say it is 10%. And the other side, when you talk about the other thing about preparation and all, I think it's 90%.
Mhm.
I personally believe that hard work has no substitution.
Yes, very true. While I was reading this book, you have dedicated this book to your mother. I just wanted to ask you that what important part your mother played in your life, and how do you think that she was also a guru? Of course, all mothers are, that who kind of shaped you as a person.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, I have dedicated this book to my mother. I mean, to be more precise, Mrs. Nirmala Supaya. I mean, she has been the backbone from the beginning.
Uh-huh.
I have an army background. I'm a Fauji ki beti.
Uh-huh.
So my parents, obviously, I mean, a lot of parents, like other parents, my parents have done a lot of sacrifices. But I can never forget my mother used to wake me up in childhood, at 4 o'clock in the morning to study. But she never left us alone, my brother, sister, and me alone in the room. And she used to sit next to us so that we don't fall asleep. I mean, you can have like 1 to 2 hours gaga about her, the way she has sacrificed. I think as in today, the kind of relationship I have with her, I think she's my best friend, and she is my life coach who has been guiding me unconditionally, and this love and sacrifice is there.
On one hand, we believe in coexistence.
Right.
And on the other hand, in management sphere, we talk all about aggression. How these two things exist in the same plane? That's my question.
Thank you. Ma'am, when we talk about aggression, I'll give a simple example that when we see a pressure cooker, okay, if you like put the flame on for a long time, it'll blast.
Correct.
If you lower the flame and just keep it like that, the meal will not be ready. So aggression in other terms, you can say with stress, tension, there are a lot number of words you can use it for. I think optimum stress, optimum aggression is required definitely to be successful. Now, when you say that these strategies, yeah, there are 33 strategies which I have mentioned.
Mhm.
Out of that 4 strategies, I did explain it in detail that how they are still relevant to today's corporate world. I also believe that you can gain knowledge from any source, be it a child or a strategy or a Chanakya Niti or from a homemaker. For example, let me share with you. One of the management session I was taking in one of the colleges, and the guy was asking that what should I learn from my mother? I have a single parent, and she's a homemaker. My answer to it was that she's the biggest consumer. She decides who's going to be the gardener. She decides which TV to be bought at home. She's going to decide the fridge. She's going to decide the penthouse, which house you need to buy. And, the other person who's earning is just going to fulfill the dream, who's a homemaker. So I think that going back to the same thing, ma'am, I think you can learn from any source, not only in strategies, but from a homemaker, from a child, from anybody. I hope that answers your question.
It does.
Thank you.
So I just got in a very interesting question for you. And this is Mr. Agarwal, who is right here. He says, we often notice that when few people are given additional responsibility at their workplace, they are not happy about it. At times, they leave their work. What do you think an organization should do?
Okay, this is quite a common scenario. I'm very happy that this question has come up, because this is a very common scenario in the organizations, be it schools, institutes, because when I think I'll be in short and brief if I want to summarize it. I think the organization, when they give responsibilities to their employees, they need to introspect at two levels, at 2 points. First, are they increasing the responsibility in vertical manner or horizontal manner? We call it in management concept, we say vertical job loading or horizontal job loading. Because horizontal job loading may lead to frustration, wherein the vertical job loading, and let me put it in brackets, it's not about the promotion only I'm talking about. Vertical job loading is the answer which helps. The second point where the organization needs to introspect is it about job enrichment or only about job enlargement? Because if it is about job enlargement, it may lead to frustration. So I think if these two aspects are taken care of, we can, I can't say very much motivate the team, but at least attrition can be stopped.
As you said, the spectrum of your reader is from 12 years to 85 years. Yeah. So would you recommend this book as a reference book? To which age group would you like to do that? You have business studies in schools. So as a reference book, which age group which class, which age group would you like is best suited for?
I've gone to a number of schools, and I have gone to a number of colleges as well. Mm-hmm. And I don't think so as on today, you can underestimate their knowledge, their curiosity. So I think so that they should also read this book. This will help in their development. Now, especially for corporates or MBAs who are going to join the corporates, or the graduate people who wants to join, they must buy this book, keep it next to them as a handbook. I'll give you an example why there is a reason to it. Ma'am, if we see that people who have just joined the organization, or say somebody is a fresher, it's very important to create that first impression which is right. First right impression is very important, which is already covered in this book. We can see how to do that. Secondly, like I've already covered, the kind of boss, the type of boss you're going to encounter. Because we say that people join companies but leave managers, right? So you need to read about your boss. Also, you need to understand when to approach your boss to take an approval. Because it's a research done which says there is a particular time you should approach. So you can only use these tricks of the trade if you gain knowledge. What about social media? I mean, social media is so sensitive these days. So a fresher should know how to work on your perception management, how you're perceived. And I think What about dressing etiquettes? What about voice etiquettes? Then dining etiquettes, dressing etiquette. So these are the points. I think for the freshers, it's very, very important. And I'm sure when these freshers go to the, they get promoted, then you become a middle manager. So here we are talking about people who are from middle management.
Mhm.
Definitely, it is very important for them because there the team management starts. So if you are taking a meeting and somebody misbehaves with you or is being rude with you, you can't get aggressive. So what exactly you have to do then, there and then? So you need to work on that. Nowadays, companies like Apple and all, they don't encourage you to use PowerPoint presentations, which we are used to. So then how do you take a structured meetings? Or I can say these days, people don't mind working with an aggressive boss, but they don't want to work with an indecisive boss. So you need to work on your decision-making skills. You need to work on your time management skills. Otherwise, you lose all the respect. What about the targets? People crib in middle management that my target keeps increasing every month when I perform or every year. So what do you do about it? I mean, this is for middle management. Now, when we talk, somebody becomes a CEO of a company, because I say that a lot of corporates, and just to add it, a lot of corporate giants based in India and outside India have distributed this book to their leadership team, even the CEOs and the MDs. Now, what do they find in this book? The answers are like how to develop an inclusive culture, how to remove the barriers for against being an ethical organization. I've given a number of examples of Ratan Tata and all in this. What about crisis management? I mean, being a CEO, you should know how to cope the conflict. Or
Correct.
at that level, you should know about the strategies, why strategies fail, why reach and become a CEO and then learn about it.
Gee.
What about red ocean traps? It's mentioned in the Harvard Business Review also. It is mentioned in my book also. It is very important.
Basically saying that you should follow blue ocean strategies rather than get into the red ocean. I get your point.
Yeah. So, I mean, implementation by the ground level people is also important in short. So what I'm trying to conclude here is that this book is for a larger audience. And I think that's the beauty of the book.
Yeah, very true. Rajesh ji, I wanted last comment from you. How does it feel like to be your life partner for a very successful lady? How does it feel like?
Oh, well, I never could ever read a book which can explain such an experience. So I think it's going to be creative. But it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So it's almost like living your dream, if you might.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
And I think more than, I mean, just to add in, I think more than spouse, I think we are more like good friends. So we enjoy each other's company and we firmly believe to complete each other's dreams, isn't it? I think that is the reason we enjoy every moment of success. And let me tell you, the success party, which I have told you that we are giving it, it's Rajesh who's throwing it, it's not me. It's his idea.
Really
yeah.
looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with all our best wishes, and may your book become the bestseller all over the globe. Thank you so much for coming to Sanatan Shakti's platform. Jai Shri Krishna and very, very good wishes.
Thank you.